All right, all right. Looks like I'm live. Do a quick audio check and then send out this link out there to social media. You know what I'm saying? Wait to see if a few people are going to join me. I have a guest that's supposed to join me. We'll see if he can make it. If not, it's all good. We'll try it again. I have a guest that's supposed to. All right, so looks like I'm live and I'm good to go. So yeah, guys, can't believe I'm doing these videos, man. The last video I did like this was Trinidad De La Hoya. Now it's Trinidad Vargas. Crazy, man, that these fights have just the years have gone by so quick, man. I just can't believe it. Getting old, that's what that means, you know. Getting old, man. If you're joining me uh live right now, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. Um Yeah, we're gonna talk about this fight, man. This was one of my all-time favorite fights when I was coming up, and hopefully I can get your guys' opinion on the fight as well. But all right, looks like I'm good to go, man. I know it's early for some of you guys. Probably still at work, stuff like that. You know, I work a split shift, so I'm in between shifts right now, and figured I'd get this video in while I got a little bit of time. I've been a little bit busy. I know I haven't been dropping videos lately. Uh, I didn't do any of the fight commentaries for last weekend. Had some family coming from out of town, so you know what I'm saying. But I will be live Saturday for the big heavyweight fight. Make sure you guys are there for that one. All right, I will be live for that one. So here's what I'm gonna do now. All right, let's talk about this fight. Felix Trinidad, who was my favorite fighter, by the way. If you don't know now, you know. All right. If I could quote the Biggie Smalls, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know now, you know. Back in the day, Trinidad was my favorite fighter from the ages of I want to say like 13 to about when he retired. I don't even remember what it was. Matter of fact, I got the box strike pulled up. Let me see. His last fight was against Roy Jones in 2008. So yeah, it was quite a ride I had with Trinidad. Um, I come from a big boxing family, you know, the huge rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico when it comes to boxing. Um, let's just say I didn't make many friends when it comes to boxing, but it is what it is, you know. Um, so what happened was this, man. I became a Trinidad fan through Chavez. As a little kid, my favorite fighter was Chavez. He was the guy that everybody liked when I was younger. He was the man coming out of Mexico, El Gran Campeón Mexicano. So everybody liked Chavez. I discovered Trinidad on an undercard of a Chavez fight, the Mildred Taylor and Chavez two, the second one. I seen Trinidad fight Yori Boy Campos on the undercard in what was a war. I believe the fight only went. I don't know why I keep saying I believe. I got the box rec right here. Let me see. I don't know if box rec says the rounds anymore. I don't think they do. Why? I don't know. Luis Ramon Campos was his name. Yeah, it doesn't say um, what round, but it does say that he did TKO him. The referee stopped it. This was right after the Camacho fight. He fought Camacho in '94. Then he ended up fighting Yori Boy in September that year. Knocked him out. And then right after that, he fought Obakar. I mean, that's three good fights in a row. You know what I'm saying? So Trinidad doing his thing, man. He knocked him smooth out after being dropped. That's another thing with Trinidad. He was always getting knocked down. Um, He's always getting knocked down in the early rounds, and you know, that was what made his fight so exciting, man. I think that was what I liked about him was that he was always determined and he always showed heart. When he fought, um, just about every time he went down, he got up to win. You know, the only time that didn't happen for him was with Hopkins, I believe. Hopkins knocked him down. That was in the 12th round of their fight, and his dad actually stepped in and stopped the fight. But that's for another video. Right now, we're talking about Vargas, Trinidad Vargas. All right, 19 years ago, man. I still can't believe that. But anyway, leading up into that fight, like I said, I was the only Trinidad fan in the family, and after the De La Hoya fight, everybody was looking for a reason, or not, I shouldn't say a reason. They wanted to see Trinidad get beat. All right, I'm just gonna be honest with you. All right, they wanted to see him get beat, and that's what made. I believe that's what helped propel Trinidad to be a big star that like he was in the early 2000s. Um, a lot of people were tuning in just to see him get beat. You know what I'm saying? I got a guest in the house. Who we got here? Stormy B. What's up, brother? He says salute, man. Salute to you, man. I'll see you later on tonight on D Style Boxing Live. Make sure you guys are there for that one. But yeah, man. That was the thing. Everybody was looking to see Trinidad get beat after the De La Hoya fight. So he goes on. Who does he fight? I believe he fights David Reed. Yes. Again, this guy was just super busy, man. I mean, he fought Whitaker, De La Hoya, and Reed within 4 fights. 3 of those guys in 4 fights, man. He fought a guy, Hugo Pineda, before the De La Hoya fight, but this guy was lining him up, man. He was knocking him out. All right. He was lining him up. Yeah, he fought David Reed on pay-per-view. I remember that. Reed, of course, like I said, Trinidad always had trouble early in fights. He gets knocked down against Reed. It looks like Reed really is gonna give him some trouble. Like Reed was out quicking him, he was out boxing him early on. But again, Trinidad's the guy who's never out of the fight, man. He's never out of the fight. He's quick. His speed never changes throughout the fight. If you notice that, he's always fast, and his power is always there, which was on full display in the Vargas fight. So everybody was tuning in. Everybody thought Reed was going to beat him because he dropped him and he was outpointing him early. Turns out he gets clipped and he can't recover. He gets beat up pretty badly in that fight. Does David Reed? So moving on, he fought Tiam in a brutal fight. I mean, he lumped this guy up early in the fight, so he ends up beating this guy. Then we got the big showdown, right? Okay, he's got one piece of the super welterweight or junior middleweight championship. Does Trinidad? I believe he had the WBA at the time. Let me do a fact check since I don't got AJ10 here. But let's see. He beat David Reed for the WBA title at 154. Then he goes on to fight Vargas, who has the IBF title. So we have unification between Vargas and Trinidad. Just 3 fights into being at 154. So now this is early 2000s, man. So I remember the internet not being what it is today, obviously 19 years ago. But you were able to get on the internet and read articles and things like that about these fights. So I remember me and my guest, if he joins me, I'm waiting for him. We used to read these articles on these fights because, again, we didn't have videos back then to see these guys in training camp. We didn't have the videos to see them talking at the press conference. So, the writers would go and they would, write down everything that was said, and they reported to us, and we would read these articles. And I remember before Vargas fought Trinidad, he had an interview after he beat Ross Thompson. And Larry Merchant asked him about possibly fighting Trinidad, and he said, I really respect Trinidad. I love watching him fight, and it's just going to be a good fight and things like that. Turns out, for some reason, I don't know why, for some reason, the kid got real disrespectful. you know, he got really disrespectful with Trinidad. I remember reading a few things. I'm like, man, I don't know if he was trying to sell the fight or what, but that's already a big rivalry there between Mexico and Puerto Rico. So I don't know if he was trying to spice things up, to sell the pay-per-view, but he definitely got Trinidad mad. That's for sure, because you could see it going into the fight. You know what I'm saying? You could see that he was upset, especially when they stood face to face before they touched gloves. Uh, Trinidad was angry, said something to him right before they touched gloves when they're getting the final instructions from the referee. Stormy B Man left a comment here. He says, "I have issue with Tito over the years. It says Tito may have gotten away with tainted hand wraps based on the revelations by Vargas recently and years ago by Hopkins." Well, I mean, I don't really want to get into that. I understand. I know what you're saying. Believe me, I've had these conversations because I'm a Trinidad fan. But that's a different topic, I got my, sources on that. So, but I understand what you mean, Stormy. I do. So, again, they were both heated. Well, I don't know if Vargas was so much. I think Vargas was really more just trying to get under Trinidad's skin and sell the fight. But Trinidad didn't like whatever it was that he said to him, because he came out fast. And that's something that you didn't really see from Trinidad in his career, was him coming out quick on guys like he did Vargas. He came out and he came out real quick and hit him with a big left hook in that first round. Huge left hook, hurt him, dropped him. He gets up and, he says he's fine. So Jay Nady says, all right, let's fight. Let's box. Trinidad comes right back out again, lands another quick left hook. Vargas goes down again. I thought the fight was over, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't think Vargas was going to make it out of that first round, man. I got to give him some credit, man. For him being so young, and he was really young at the time. I think he was only like in his early 20s. Being so young to have to go through that, he got himself up, man, and survived, man, and made it a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, Stormy B. We'll talk about that, man. I'm not avoiding that. I just want to stick to the topic for this video because I don't have too much time right now to talk about the hand wrap situation. But we'll talk about that, man. Don't worry. So, yeah, man, Vargas showed a lot of courage in this fight, being able to get up like that. But the thing that, and I wish that my guest was here, man, because him and we watched this thing together. And, when I'll just go ahead and say it right now since he's not here. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. I sent him the link. We'll see if he can join me. But after reading those articles and all the trash that Vargas talked, when he got dropped like that first hook landing went down, I jumped up out of my seat. Now, I'm going to set the scene for you, okay? I'm 16 years old at the time, right? Me and my boy watching it together. We got both our girlfriends there with us. And Vargas gets hit, right? So I'm sitting down on the couch. Vargas gets hit with that left hook, and I see he's hurt. He goes down. Where I jump up out of my seat, and I'm like yelling at the TV. I'm like, get your ass up. Get your ass. You're talking all that. Get up, man. Look at you, He gets up, and then, Jay Nady says, all right, let's box. Trinidad runs across the ring, hits him with a left hook, goes down again. So I'm yelling and screaming at the TV again, I thought the fight was over, man. I got to give Vargas some credit, man. Got to give him some credit. Let's see. Joe Lopez in the house says, I remember Vargas dropping Trinidad, then was hit by a low blow right after that. Maybe if the low blow doesn't happen, the fight may have turned out differently. Well, the truth is this, man. He did hit him low. Was it intentional? I don't know, man. Low blows happen, but Vargas hit Trinidad low in that fight also, man. You got to go back and watch it. He was deducted a point also in the fight for low blows. But to get back on that, a couple rounds go by, and I believe the fourth round is when they exchange left hooks, right? Vargas gets there faster, right? Puts Trinidad on his ass, right? And I'm not panicked. Again, this is me at 16 years old. I'm a fanboy at the time, right? Um, he knocks him down, and then I'm not panicked because I'm like, this happens all the time in Trinidad's fights. He always gets knocked down, gets up, and then like Joe Lopez said, the low blow happens, right? So I don't even know. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole thing. I'm going strictly off my memory right now. But I don't know if Trinidad hit him low before that. But when the low blow happened in the fourth round, that point was taken right away. Like, I don't even think he got a warning. He just took the point. So that turned into a 10-7 round also for him. So you got one 10-7 round in the first round for Trinidad, and then you got another one in the fourth round for Vargas because Vargas knocked Trinidad down, and then Trinidad hits him with a low blow, and the referee takes the point. Crazy, crazy 4 rounds, man. Crazy. So the fight goes on. It gets better. Trinidad gets what I thought was maybe he got thumbed in the eye or something. There was something wrong with his eye in those middle rounds. Ends up being fine. Doesn't give him any issues in the fight. But man, that fight was back and forth. It was a hell of a fight, man. Those dudes were exchanging shots, and there was times where it looked like Trinidad was getting the better. There was times where it looked like Vargas was getting the better. Great back and forth action. It was a classic Mexico versus Puerto Rico fight. It had everything you wanted, man. It had all the drama, the knockdowns, the low blows, everything you wanted, man. But as the fight went on, for me at least, for me, because like I said, I was a Trinidad fan. This guy could have been a 15-round fighter, man. I mean, he was in tremendous shape for every fight. They say he used to run marathons, like he was in great, great shape, You never had to worry about him gassing or anything like that. And I noticed as the fight went on, you could kind of see Vargas, slowing down a little bit. Not that he wasn't in great shape to go 12. I'm sure he was. But I believe that Trinidad's condition was superior to him. And to me, it started to take over a little bit as the rounds went on and as we got into the championship rounds, especially. And you guys saw what happened in that 12th round, man. That 12th round was crazy, man. Like, he came out and, again, they exchanged left hooks. They're both going for the same left hook. Trinidad gets there first. And you can see Vargas's head, like, snap when he got hit. Like, you knew he was hurt, and he went straight down. And that's what I mean about the superior condition of Trinidad. Because not only did he have the legs to go out there and do that, but the power was still there in round 12. He still had tremendous power going into that last round. Knocks him down, and the fight's pretty much over at that point. Vargas just couldn't recover. He gets up, he's a tough guy, man. He gets up, Trinidad runs across the ring again, hits him with a left hook, goes down again. And at this point, I'm, again, shouting and yelling, and I'm like, hey, he's done. It's over, man. Might as well just stop it. Nady gives him one more chance. He starts to hang on a little bit. Looks like he's, going to survive maybe. But, as he's trying to clinch, he just didn't have enough strength or energy to hang on, and he gets hit with a right hand this time. Instead of a left hook, all his knockdowns were due to the left hook except for that last one. Trinidad is, again, Vargas trying to wrap him up, so Trinidad just kind of shoves him off a little bit with the elbow, comes over the top with the right hand. Vargas goes down, and Jay Nady waves out the fight, which was the right thing to do. I mean, he was badly hurt. There was no coming back from that. But a hell of a fight, man. One hell of a fight. And I got to give Vargas some credit, man. for coming back, man, after that first round. Um, man, especially with a devastating puncher like Trinidad to be able to survive that, you know, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. And what makes it even more crazy is that, man, 19 years ago this fight happened. I don't know, man. You guys, I know Stormy B. You know, he's older than me. I'm a pretty old guy myself. He's older than me, so I know he was watching it. Joe Lopez, I know you. I don't know if you're still here watching, but you left a comment here, and I know that you most likely had seen it live when it happened. I remember after the fight. Now, this is how long ago the fight was. I remember as soon as the fight was over, I ran to the phone and I paged my dad. Right. So this is how long ago it was. We still had pagers back then. I mean, they were kind of fading out towards that time, but there were still some people that had them. So right away I paged him, and he called me back, and I was like, "Did you see the fight? You see what he doing?" He didn't want to talk to me about it. He was pissed off because, again, they were just waiting for Trinidad to lose, man, because of what happened with the De La Hoya fight. But for me, I had to rub it in, man. I just had to. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by, Joe Lopez. Yeah, okay, cool. You still here, man? Thanks. Um, Shepherd of Sons. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Were you watching? Did you watch this fight live, Joe Lopez? You know, I know I was like I said, I was there live. I was watching it. Had a great time. I enjoyed it. Turned out to be a much better fight, especially after that first round, man. Still to this day, Deontay Wilder. To this day, I still can't believe that he made it out of that round and survived to go 12, man. But unfortunately, man, Vargas took a lot of punishment, early on in his career. Um, I believe that they pushed the kid too early, man. I really do. And that's why when I see these young fighters that got like, anywhere from like 15 to 20 fights and they win a belt, they want to talk about, I want this guy, I want that guy. They want the main guys already. I'm just like, take it easy. Let's just, let's learn from history, man. A lot of these guys that get thrown in there this early, they don't last long, man. And I think that's what happened with Vargas. He took a lot of shots in that fight. Um, took a lot of big shots from guys like De La Hoya, uh, Shane Mosley. He, I really think that that's what messed him up, man. And he was a very talented young kid, man, at the time. Again, I think he was only like 20 something, early 20s when this fight happened. So, man, I know he had a belt, and I know that he had a big fan base, man. He had a lot of fans, but I felt like they could have you know, kept him away from these kind of fights so early in his career. I think that would have benefited him, man. I really do. Um, Joe Lopez says Vargas took a lot of punishment against De La Hoya. Yes, he did, man. And that's another fight that I'll review when that time comes up. um, but this one here, man, 19 years ago was crazy. Let's see, Vargas was pushed far too quick. He was champ at light middleweight. Wow, at 18, man. Could have been, yeah, you could be right. Vito Spatafor, huh? Is that the guy from the Sopranos? That's one of my favorite shows, man. But yeah, they did push him too quickly, man. I do believe that. I think that he could have really been. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section if you guys are watching. You think Vargas should be in the Hall of Fame based off of what he did in his career? Now, I think that again, if they just let him build his career slowly, you know, I think he could have definitely been a no doubt about it. But that's just not the way it worked out. I know he had a fight against Winky Wright that I felt like he lost. I didn't think he won that fight, but he got the decision. over Wright. Never fought him again. And then he moved on to fight other guys. Right after that, let me see. Let me check the box rec on that and see. Vargas. Let's see. Man, he turned pro in March of '97. 3 years later, he was in the ring with Felix Trinidad. Wow, that's crazy, man. In 3 years, so yeah, he was doing his thing too, man. I mean, look at from '99, December in '99, he fought Winky Wright, and it was a majority decision. Honestly, felt he lost that fight, but then his next fight, he fights Ike Corte, who was a real guy. I thought Ike Corte beat De La Hoya. The judges seen it different, but he ended up fighting Ike Corte. Ross Thompson, who he was an okay fighter. Then he fights Trinidad. After the Trinidad loss, he fights two more guys. Then he's in there with De La Hoya. I mean, Jesus, that's a hell of a resume that young. So it says here that he was born December 7th, 77, and he turned pro when he was 20. So he won, let me see. He beat Yori Boy, again, a guy who Trinidad fought. He beat Yori Boy in 98. So, yeah, he was 20, 21, I want to say. Yeah, he was 21 by the time he won the belt. His first title, which, man, that's a hell of an accomplishment that young, man. And only 1 year into being professional, he won the belt, Let's see, we got some more comments. Vargas was 22, yes. Absolutely, man. He became champ, I think, 18 or 19. That is crazy, man. Let's see. De La Hoya. Yeah. That was a good fight too, man. Then he popped dirty. He came in a little extra ripped for that fight. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Vargas is always a guy who, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was in great shape. I mean, you had to be in great shape to be a boxer. He just didn't always have that kind of muscle tone, and he was never the most ripped guy. But going into that De La Hoya fight, he was ripped up, man. Ended up popping dirty for that one, but it doesn't matter because he ended up losing. He ended up getting stopped. So yeah, so after that De La Hoya fight, let's see, he fought 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in between. Javier Castillejo, who who's the name? He's not that good. Then he fights Shane Mosley twice, back to back. Suffered a bad swollen eye in the first fight, I believe. And then I think he ended up getting stopped in the next one. Or, like real stoppage. I think they stopped it the first time, and then the second time he got knocked out. Then he takes a year off, fights Mayorga. And what was a crazy fight, because I have friends from Nicaragua, and as soon as that fight was announced, I was like, oh man, we gotta watch that fight together. And those guys went crazy, man. when Mayorga ended up winning, I think he ended up hurting him in that first round, and they went crazy. Let's see. Joe Lopez says, yeah, came in dirty and still lost. Yeah. Let's see. He didn't fight Mayorga he could have. I think that fight was at a catchweight, if I'm not mistaken. It says here, they fought for a title, guys. Or is it? Oh, no, it was one of those knockoff ones. Vacant World Boxing Council Continental America's super middleweight title. So they fought at 168. So a guy who fought his whole life at, I believe, super welterweight or junior middleweight takes his last fight at super middleweight. Yeah, and Vargas was done at that point, man. He was done. I knew he was going to lose to Mayorga. But it is what it is, man. Came in dirty and still lost. Yeah, exactly. He came in, popped dirty, and still got knocked out by the smaller guy, man. I always thought that De La Hoya would beat him. He just to me he was just always the more skilled guy. I'll always favor the guy with the more skills. When it comes to boxing, doesn't mean that the guy who's less skilled, who just has a little more grit, a little more toughness, can't win. I mean, we've seen that a lot of times. That guys that that are like that end up beating the more skilled guy. Um, but I always tend to favor the guys with more skills, and to me, De La Hoya was always a more skilled fighter than Vargas was. See, we got another comment. Vargas needs to wait 2 more years, then fought De La Hoya. Yeah, man. I mean, that was right away. That was a pretty quick turnaround. I mean, from late 2000, again, this was December 2nd, 2000, he fought Trinidad. He fought 2 times. He fought in May 5th, he fought Wilfredo Rivera. Then he fought Jose Flores in September. Yeah. And then he waited a whole year to fight De La Hoya. He was off a whole year, pretty much. He fought September 22nd, 2000 against Flores. His next fight was against De La Hoya in September 14th, 2002. So, yeah, man, I think they really mismanaged Vargas's career for a guy who, again, he came into the game very young, accomplished a lot of things very young. He fought Raul Marquez. Wow. Okay. That's a good fight for him at that point. So by the time he's 21, he's already fighting guys like Yodi Boy, Raul Marquez, Winky Wright, Ike Corte, Felix Trinidad. I mean, man, those are some names, dude. They put threw him in there early, man. I know he made some good money too, man. I know he for sure made some good money with these fights. Those are some big names, man. Big names. Let's see. Vito says, G Funk, did you have Oscar beating Floyd? I think it was an SD. I had it a draw. I only scored that fight once, and that was when the fight was live. And I think I ended up scoring that fight a draw live. I haven't seen it since then, though. I mean, I've watched it, but I just didn't score it. Reggie Owens in the house. What's up, bro? Thanks for tuning in, man. I'll see you later, man. We're gonna do the show tonight on D Style Boxing Live. Make sure you guys are there. But yeah, man, this fight again, one of my all-time favorite fights. Felix Trinidad versus Fernando Vargas was a war, man. Good fight. I mean, it's one of those fights that I always go back and watch whenever I'm at home and I got some free time and I got nothing to do. I always want to go back and watch old fights. So, I'll watch it and I always enjoy it, man, because it's such a good fight, man. A lot of back and forth, a lot of good punches thrown, a lot of good punches exchanged, knockdowns everywhere. The drama with Trinidad was on the brink of getting disqualified, man, for for low blows. You know what I'm saying? So this fight had it all, man. It had a lot of drama, a lot of action, a lot of buildup. Mexico versus Puerto Rico again. I mean, what else do you need, man? So just a great fight, man. I enjoyed recapping it right now. I was hoping that my boy was going to join me. I sent him the link. He couldn't make it, unfortunately. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut this thing right now. Maybe we'll do a video later, me and him together. But yeah, man, if there's any last second things that you guys want to ask me about this fight, go ahead before I close it out. I'm going to head back to work here in about 1 hour. So I figured I'd squeeze in a video right now. I might go live and do my prediction for Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua before I go on to D-Style's show. I want to drop that here on my channel first, my full prediction breakdown first. And then I'm sure we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to be on D-Style show tonight and on Wednesday night. We'll be talking about that fight. Fight's going to get a lot of coverage. But I want to get it in here first. So you guys stay tuned. It might be around 5:30, 6, something like that. So if you can, tune in. and then we'll switch over to D Styles show. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real busy today, so yeah, guys, those are my my thoughts on the fight. Still can't believe 19 years ago, man. That is crazy. I remember that shit like it was yesterday, man. I do. It doesn't seem. It does not seem like it was 20 years ago at all. But hey, man, time waits for no one. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just glad that I'm still alive 19 years later to talk about it with you guys. You know what I'm saying? After some of the crazy stuff that went on in my life. Let's see. Vito says Andy looked relaxed on Sky Sports earlier today. Okay. I think he's in a good spot, man. I don't want to give away too much, man, but I think Ruiz is pretty confident, man. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that joined me here. I appreciate you guys coming here and chatting it up with me. I know it's early, a little odd time, but I got free time right now. So thanks for joining me. I wish my guest would have made it, but he couldn't make it. Let's see. Andy always looks relaxed. Yeah, he sure does, man. So I'm gonna cut this thing here, man. I'll see you guys a little later here, and then I'll also see you guys on D Styles tonight, D Style Live. So I'm Andy, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for joining me.